Nepal is a Hindu kingdom of 20 million. It is known as the birthplace of Lord Buddha and the land of the Himalayas. But Nepal is no Shangri-La. For the last 200 years, the Nepalese people have lived under the shadow of a wealthy and brutal theocracy. Despite the centuries of oppression, Nepalese people have shown that they are determined to achieve social justice and basic human rights. On April 8, 1990, the King of Nepal yielded to the people's mass movement for democracy. The voice of the Nepalese people could no longer be silenced. King Virendra, one of the world's last absolute monarchs, complied with the people's demand that the 30-year ban on political parties be lifted. There was celebration throughout Nepal as the puppet government was dissolved and a long-time critic of the monarchy was named to the post of Prime Minister.
For the last 29 years, we have been striving to establish democracy here of our notion. They say, even the present rulers, they say that there is democracy in Nepal. We say no, unless there is an opposition. That is the acid test of a democracy. Since the very inception of the party, 43 years ago, we are fighting for democracy, democratic rights of the people. We are fighting for human rights. We are fighting for dignity of man. And we are fighting for liberation of a Nepali.
The Nepali people need not only political liberation, but social and economic liberation as well. 90% of Nepal's population lives in villages, which are as they have been for centuries. Centuries ago, the people were primarily self-sufficient farmers. Nepalese youth had to work for their families instead of going to school. Families were large in anticipation that one or more children might die. In modern Nepal, the average per capita income is $170. Illiteracy is nearly 80%, and as many as 3 out of 5 children die before age 5. Over the centuries, Nepalese people have become increasingly impoverished and dependent on imported food and other necessities. The struggle for democracy in Nepal is not new. In 1950, a pro-democracy movement ended the century-long rule of the Rana aristocracy. They established a constitutional monarchy and in 1959 held free elections. B.P. Koirala, the leader of the Nepali Congress Party, became the first popularly elected Prime Minister. The people of Nepal trusted that democratic reforms would result. Instead, the Nepalese people witnessed the betrayal of the democratic process in 1960 when King Mahendra staged a military coup against the democratically elected government. He banned all political parties and established a panchayat system loyal to the absolute religious and political authority of the monarch.
And at that time there was not any charge against me, or there was not any trial or charge against me. Without charge and without trial, I was in prison for 6 years. And then I was released, and after some time, again I was arrested. And many times I was arrested during the 30 years of this dictatorial panchayat system.
The royal coup frustrated and demoralized the people who had anticipated a more egalitarian future. Despite the selfish acts of the crown, many still view the monarch as a human incarnation of Lord Vishnu and a rightful father of the nation. The present King Virendra has continued to abuse the faith and trust of the Nepalese. However, as the people are continually deceived, their determination to achieve democracy is strengthened.
We want that we shouldn't stop less than a multi-party system. We should not, because we have been deceived more often than not, hundreds of times, you see. As a matter of fact, they say negotiation in a very perverted way. just to show the world. They keep the window open but shut the door here before we go and meet them. So, and they say that they are democracy and they are saving democracy, they are working for democracy. How can it be possible? It's not possible.
In spite of the ban on political parties, on January 18, 1990, 8 parties met to discuss their options for instituting a multi-party democracy in Nepal. On the principle of unity in action, the Nepali Congress Party and the United Left Front joined forces and formed the movement for the restoration of democracy, known as the MRD. The MRD announced its program of rallies, general strikes and non-cooperation designed to force the government to institute democratic reforms.
Now the boiling point has come. For the last 30 years, they are tolerating the tyrannies of this dictatorial system. Now they are very much disgusted.
हामीले प्रस्ताव पास गर्यो नेपाली कांग्रेसले कि यो साल भित्र राणा शाहीलाई by hook and by crook.
In response to the opposition's declaration, His Majesty's government ordered that all suspected political dissidents be jailed or placed under house arrest. In less than 1 month before the actual movement began, over 3,000 people were detained. Dozens of opposition newspapers were censored, but government-controlled media launched a massive campaign to portray the MRD as anti-national. These tactics, designed to scare the people from standing up for their beliefs, did nothing of the sort. On February 18, the Nepalese throughout the nation filled the streets in mass protest against the partyless panchayat system. In Kathmandu, more than 50,000 people marched in support of democracy. In Janakpur, 100,000 people came out in force. Across Nepal, in Biratnagar, Chitwan, Jhapa, Pokhara and Nepalganj, more than 500,000 people marched in support of the restoration of democracy.
नगर प्रहरी आए हुन्छ अनि त्यो असनको आएर यहाँ एउटा राष्ट्रिय नाच गर्न बस्यो रोटर बसिसकेको छ त्यहाँबाट चाहिँ कुनै हालतमा पनि पछाडि हट्दैन.
People throughout the country were beaten and shot by Nepal's army and police. Witnesses have repeatedly stated that people were killed without provocation or warning.
The police started firing without warning, without lathi charge, without tear gas and without water cannon. They targeted the people who are killed are the selected people. That means they aimed at certain people and fired, and many people had got the bullet hole in the head, chest and abdomen and not in the legs.
Because I am a doctor, my job is not only to feel the pulse of the patients, but to see the human health in totality. So unless the health of the country is improved, human health cannot be improved, especially in the developing countries like Nepal. So for that reasons we have to have some kind of social responsibility.
Professor Mathura Shrestha and his colleagues were outraged by the government's use of hollow point bullets on unarmed demonstrators.
And as soon as this such bullet enters, it bursts into several pieces. And such type of bullet cause extensive soft tissue damage and multiple organ damages, which is very difficult to repair or treat, and in many cases life-threatening. And for a surgeon to extract such bullet is very, very difficult, extremely difficult. Sometimes the doctor has to decide to leave some parts of it. Some parts of it is left. Even the wound will be healed. The people will suffer for life with chronic lead poisoning, which is extremely incapacitating and untreatable conditions.
As the government of Nepal increased its crackdown on dissent, the faith of the Nepalese people in the monarchy declined. Women in Kathmandu Valley went to Pashupatinath temple to pray for the success of the democratic movement. The peasants of Nepal began to speak out against the repressiveness of the Shaha monarch. The monarchy, traditionally seen as the protector, showed itself to be the oppressor of people.
I don't know. Why do I need any government? Why do I need a king? My son Nirmal was killed by the king's army. If my son is not alive, why should I be alive? I'm encouraging the government to send the police or the army here to kill me now. If they kill innocent people for no reason, then they should kill me, so I'll know I'm innocent. I've never done anything wrong. I've never done anything against my country, so I'm sure they must kill me.
If in any quarter of the world, if in any corner of the globe, human right is trampled, it hurts the people in other corner also. In other corner, the people also lose something, so they must also speak up.
Without democracy, there is little hope for development. Nepalese underdevelopment is not a natural disaster. It is the product of the selfishness of the royal family itself. While the king of Nepal is one of the wealthiest men in the world, Nepali people are among the poorest. The royal family misuses government revenues and development aid to enhance their personal wealth and to silence the political opposition.
But we are talking about a very pervasive disease, a social disease, which has been sustained by the political system that is there. Political system itself is built on the edifice of corruption. It has been sustained by corrupt practices which the government promotes by and large. And to finance these things, foreign aid has been coming in very easily. So they have wanted to help us tremendously, and the government is the beneficiary, and they get, the donors give money to the government. What happens is the government becomes more powerful while the people become weaker.
On April 15th, an interim government was formed under the leadership of Krishna Prasad Bhattarai. Within a year, this government will prepare a democratic constitution. The transition from an absolute monarchy to a full democratic society might be painful. The Nepalese people face two primary challenges. They must expand democracy to the economic and cultural fabric of Nepalese life. They must also initiate a process of development which will empower the vast majority of people. The political changes that people have achieved so far are just one step forward in a long march for genuine democracy and development in Nepal.
वर्षौं पुरानो अँधेरी रातलाई क्रान्तिको किरणले जडाउनु छ खडेरी परेको मातृभूमिमा उदार बसन्त ल्याउनु छ मागेर अधिकार पाइने होइन मागेर अधिकार पाइने होइन यो कुर्लेको आँधी अब बाँधिने छैन यो कुर्लेको आँधी अब बाँधिने छैन रोपौँ प्रजातन्त्र माटोमा गाउँदै स्वतन्त्र बाटोमा नेपालको गीत हिमालको गीत अब तिम्रो जीत अनि मेरो जीत शहीदको